Give thanks. Football is back. Well, it will be. Every day a holiday when the Shield is here, but we take a look at a big one coming on Thanksgiving and look at your celebration in a more formal sense. Traditional Thanksgiving 3-pack on the way, headline there by the Chiefs and the Boys at 4:30 on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus, and then a hearty helping of leftovers on Friday with the Eagles and Bears. Back in studio, Joe Musso and the two-time Super Bowl champ Bryant McFadden. Mac, let's take a look at this holiday offering as the schedule is here, and we have plenty to sink our teeth into.
Yes, sir.
We've already touched upon the Chiefs and the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day, but this is an identity game for Dallas. By this time in the season, we will have a better idea of what they are, but how does that identity shift with the change in leadership in your eyes this season?
Well, I think to be determined, right? Because there's a change in the rings in terms of the head coaching based on what we've seen over the last few years with Mike McCarthy being the head coach for the Dallas Cowboys. Now under this new regime under Coach Schottenheimer, to be determined. We don't know. But the thing about the Cowboys and how they get things going with their schedule, we were getting an early clear look on what the Cowboys will look like starting week one and, of course, throughout the rest of the way leading to that Thursday night game, Thanksgiving Day game against the aforementioned Kansas City Chiefs.
And I could not believe Patrick Mahomes' first time playing in Jerry's world as a professional. It's not the building that matters when you're talking about Pat Mahomes, but it'll be another one he can check off his list. Certainly so when we get the Chiefs on Thanksgiving Day. We are thankful for that as well. We'll also get the Lions and the Packers, and this one has all the Thanksgiving feel. I don't know if it's because I'm a Midwest kid. It's that early game. You're already noshing on something, but these are two teams that are not hanging in the balance, but much is expected of them, and maybe we don't know what they're going to be this year. Do you feel a step back for either one of these franchises this coming season?
Well, I know when you lose two coordinators, with the Detroit Lions losing their OC and their defensive coordinator from a year ago, over the last few years, one would think there could be a step back. But when you look at what Dan Campbell has built there in Detroit, just the persona of what that team is, we know one thing they're going to do for sure. They're going to bite your knees off. They're going to fight for four quarters, and they're going to gamble in terms of being aggressive in fourth down opportunities. And, oh, by the way, they still have their head quarterback in charge in Jared Goff. So I don't think we will see a significant step back. I think it's going to take some time for these guys to get acclimated to the new coordinators on either side of the football. But in terms of the personnel, Joe, they still have a playoff caliber team. When you look at the team on paper, they have the experience, and I do believe they will have championship-like aspirations this season. And the same can be said for the Green Bay Packers, because if you remember a year ago, their quarterback got injured in week one. He dealt with that knee ailment for quite some time, and he never got back to being the Jordan Love that we visualized we would see in 2024 based on how he finished 2023 season off as well. So when you have Jordan Love, you have their head coach, and that's a talented roster as well. I do believe the Green Bay Packers should have championship-like aspirations because they have that type of talent.
I think fair to say that both teams underperformed to their own internal expectation a year ago. These are two teams, some had circled the Green Bay Packers as that in vogue pick to take the next step. The Detroit Lions were going to be the team standing in their way, and neither of those two things came to fruition. It was Washington and Philadelphia on Championship Sunday. We also got one close to your heart, Bengals and Ravens out of your division.
Prime time.
Bengals going to show up for week one this year. I know this is not week one, but this is around the time of year that they catch their stride.
Yes.
What do you expect from Cincinnati this season?
Well, hopefully we see more of a sense of urgency for Cincinnati. I know we're talking about the Thursday night slate, but the issue for Cincinnati has been getting off to slow starts. The month of September and October, they've been ugly for that said organization. So can they find their stride before the month of November? But focusing on this Thursday night game, Thanksgiving night game. I mean, divisional foes, two teams that know each other extremely well. And if I'm the Baltimore Ravens, whatever you need to do, make sure you find a way to locate Jamar Chase. Because it's something about the Ravens secondary that Jamar Chase loves. Anytime he faces off against the Baltimore Ravens, he puts up video game-like numbers. He did so last year, and you better believe he's licking his chops at another opportunity to put up outstanding numbers against the Ravens secondary.
I know it's easy to make a prediction here in the month of, what are we, April?
May,
thank you. I'm always a couple behind. I'm going to make a prediction. That game will be a matchup of the top total defense in the NFL and the top passing offense in the NFL.
I can see that. Yeah,
sounds about right. It'll be a good one coming up on Thanksgiving night. Then we've got one more on Black Friday. It's the Chicago Bears, and it is the defending Super Bowl champions in the Eagles. When you look at a Black Friday matchup, again, this is the latter half of the season. We're going to know who these two teams are by then, but this is sort of a full circle from last Thanksgiving when it all came apart for Chicago, or at least the final straw that got the coach fired happened. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to look at one to the other, but as you look at what Chicago has done this offseason, is this going to be a team that can play on a similar level to the class of the NFL in the Philadelphia Eagles?
They should. They should. Oftentimes, Joe, when a team has a first-year head coach, you're expecting to see growing pains, right? And I'm not saying I don't expect to see that happen with the Chicago Bears, but I do believe, based on how well they were able to add talent to their team, experienced talent via free agency, and of course adding more talent through the draft, this should be a team that should be able to compete with some of the best in the NFC. And it starts, you talked about how they get the season going and going to this Black Friday game against the Super Bowl champions, the Eagles. I think they got a quarterback. In terms of talent, you don't question that. They got the best, most coveted play caller over the last few years in the NFL in Ben Johnson as their head coach. They've added more talent to the offense. They shored up the offensive line. That was the issue, the biggest issue for their offense a year ago, the offensive line, the lack thereof. They added more depth to the defensive line along with the experience. What else do you need, Chicago? You have the hot dogs, you have your quarterback. Last time I checked in Chicago, if you have those two said things, you should be a happy fan base. And that should be the case for the Chicago Bears this season.
More of a beef sandwich city than we are hot dogs, but we do hot dogs well. Just hoping that they can start doing
Chicago
football
style,
well.
right?
Exactly, in the Windy City. That's Thanksgiving. Let's take a look now at your Christmas Day offering. Cowboys and Commanders, Lions and Vikings, Broncos and Chiefs. It will be a record number of Thursday football games for the Dallas Cowboys, and this one comes on Christmas Day. All right, Mac, last year Christmas was a Wednesday, a clear statement by the league that if it ends in Y, we're playing a game. And this holiday has once again been dominated by the NFL. We love having it on that day. Do you like the setup and the way that things break this year for the Christmas schedule?
Yeah, it's better compared to what we saw last year. Now, granted, both games that we watched on Christmas Day a year ago, they were outstanding. Well, not so much for my Pittsburgh Steelers, but
I told you how that was.
The anticipation was there, and it happened on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday. Now with this Christmas happening on a Thursday, that's more of in the regime of what we've seen, because we have Thursday night games every week of the season when you look at where the NFL stands right now. So it's more about the norm for what we're seeing. And to your point, Joe, we have three Christmas Day games.
Give it to me.
And I'm excited for all of the above. And when you look at how it worked out a year ago, only having two, it was more because it was on Wednesday. With it happening on Thursday, now you go ahead and add one more, which Goodell did, and I'm okay in seeing how it all unfolds for Christmas. So you look at NFL dominating Thanksgiving, as they've done throughout the entire history of the league for the most part, and now they're starting to dominate Christmas. Every holiday is pretty much going to be locked and loaded by the NFL before it's all said and done.
That's 3 with your turkey, 3 with your presents, and 1 on the day that you sit and shop. The holidays are here, and so is football. Bryant McFadden, appreciate your thoughts as always.